Purdue, 7-1 to win the national championship. 160 to make the Final Four, but here we go. This is one of those teams that's faltered in the early rounds a couple years in a row now, J-Rod. Is it just, it can't happen again, right? Or can it?
Listen, on this very show with the cast of characters that are on there, we have famously said it's not Purdue, it's Purdon't. It's PTSD, Purdue Tournament Stress Disorder. They always poop the bed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the characters, the actors, the situations. They find a way. You listen, they have some great wins this year. Tennessee, Marquette, Arizona, Illinois. They've got all the makings, but we've seen this before. They're set to be a number 1 seed. They're the number 2 team in the country. I would think so. But to me, plus 160 to make the Final Four doesn't entice me enough to put any money on them. So I have faith, but I don't have faith. I guess I'm a non-believer in Purdue tournament stress disorder. I don't want any part of that. Prove me wrong.
I hate to say it about what's widely regarded as one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country with the player of the year on the roster and Zach Edey, but until I see
player of the year.
Right, until I see them fix their issues in the tournament, I can't have faith in them. Maybe it's stupid. Right. There's a reason they're 7-1 to win the national title. They are that good, but I'm sorry. When you've gone out in the first round 2 of the last 3 years, I can't believe in you. I just can't. So, yeah, I don't have any faith in Purdue either. Maybe all of those failures the last couple of years have piled up, and Matt Painter is able to do something with them, and he's able to take them deep this year. Again, to make the Final Four, they're plus 160. I don't think there's the value there that you would want to roll the dice that they don't make a mess of themselves again in the early rounds, and much less do enough to get through the second weekend of the tournament as well.
And maybe because I have an ex that went to Purdue, maybe because I have more, PTSD, Purdue tournament stress disorder, I'm not betting Purdue, right? They're not winning this thing. 7-1 to win the thing, plus 160 Final Four. No futures on Purdue, right?
I'm with you, man. Look, I understand for every argument, that they say what happened with Tony Bennett when, the UMBC, the 16 seed, knocked him off, and we saw Fairleigh Dickinson do that to Purdue last year. I still can't get on board with it. I still I think that you could maybe convince me of a Final Four or Elite Eight or something, but I still think that they lack athleticism at certain spots, so I always think that'll catch up to them, but Virginia did do it. I guess that's the one outlier. I even thought that Virginia team lacked athleticism, but they got it done. But yeah, I just can't take Matt Painter in the tournament until he proves me wrong, because, I've had a lot of, I wasn't on Purdue last year, but other years, I think North Texas beat him in the first round. So I'm with you. I just can't take Purdue, really in any sport. So sorry, Boilermaker fans.
What's interesting to me, this 6-game winning streak, as they head into the break, it's come at the exact time that Kyrie Irving returned to the lineup, and he has looked like peak Kyrie, averaging 27, 6, and 6, 34 last night in a win over San Antonio. Luka is still Luka, third in the league with 10 triple-doubles this year, averaging 34 points a game. And they added some depth inside because they don't know what Max Kleber's issue with the toe is going to be like going into the postseason down the stretch. Even he's been in and out of the lineup and struggled to be productive when he is in the lineup. Daniel Gafford, added at the trade deadline, has been a part of these last 3 wins, averaging 15 points and 12 boards a night in those 3 wins. Dallas at plus 150 to win this division. It's not a knock on New Orleans, I don't think. I just like the value. It's not sick, crazy value. You're not getting 2-3 to 1 or better, but at plus 150 to win the division this morning, when they're basically in a tie with New Orleans for the division lead anyway, just 1 game back, and they have the experience advantage over New Orleans as well. Kyrie's been a part of these things. Luka's been a part of these things. I like that Mavs 150 to win the division.
When Mario, our executive producer, was putting together the show, and we were talking about this, and he gave us that information that the Mavs are plus 150 to win the division, I made the bet right then and there. I mean, they're only a game back. The Mavericks are one of these teams that if you looked at them from 30,000 feet, you see they're in the play-in tournament, right? They're the seventh seed. So you're thinking, wow, what an awful year they must be having. And you laid it out. Luka's having a career year in terms of points. You know, they're on their way to win 50 games. It shows you how good the West is. And as a bettor, I go by who has been there before, who has done things before. Remember, the Mavericks were not too far removed from getting to the Western Conference Finals. This is a good team, good players. They kind of have been like the Phoenix Suns a little bit. They haven't been able to get all their players to be on the court at the same time. But Luka being there, he's a straight up killer out there, man, on the court. I'll take him any day. Kyrie playing well. Lively's getting back into the rotation. Exum's getting back. This is a good squad, and at plus 150 to win the division, I'll take that, and I wouldn't be surprised to make a deep run. I mean, 16-1 to win the West, I've seen worse.
This 6-game winning streak, I think, has opened some eyes to the fact that Dallas may be figuring some things out. And again, at 150 to win the division, when, winning the division, it's kind of like we talked about yesterday, right? Winning the division doesn't necessarily mean anything when you're going by seeding in the NBA, right? Because we're seeding by conference. But in this case, winning the division, winning the Southwest is going to be the difference between, like we talked about, being in the play-in tier or not being in the play-in tier. So it's not even necessarily about as much of winning the division, but I like the number at plus 150. It's about, I don't want to have to play in the play-in. I don't want to have to play Sacramento in the play-in, or have the Lakers come to town, or maybe we lose the first play-in game, and now all of a sudden we're playing a hot Golden State team for our playoff lives. Maybe like nobody wants to be in that situation. You'd much rather be in a series, which I think makes the Southwest Division title actually worth something.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you what, is there any more dangerous guy than Luka in the playoffs? He could get so hot, so fast, could take over a series. I mean, he's one of those guys that you definitely, when you go to a game, you just watch him more than anything else. Yeah. I think the Mavericks are, if they were a stock, they're definitely on the rise. They're definitely in the buy situation right now. And I think they could be a problem in the NBA playoffs, a serious problem for some teams.
If the Oklahoma City Thunder get the 1 seed, SGA should take MVP. He's plus 260 right now. Our good friends at BetMGM to win the regular season MVP. Jokic still the favorite at minus 165. But Thunder have a clear chance to take the 1 seed. And we've seen a lot of times in this award that the team that's most dominant, usually their best player gets a little MVP at the end of the year. So I ask you, J-Rod, GTFO, oh yeah, if Thunder get the 1 seed, SGA deserves the MVP.
I will say this. Why is baseball the only sport that has 2 MVPs? Why isn't there a Western Conference MVP and an Eastern Conference MVP?
Yeah. Because we keep up the sham.
I'm not arguing either one. I mean, I wouldn't mind if baseball had 1 MVP, but again, you have 2, so it makes life easier to have a West and an East, a national and American. I think for the Oklahoma City Thunder to get the number 1 seed, SGA will have to be the MVP. I think we do have a lot of sort of exhaustion of the same names, Giannis, Embiid, Joker. I think we always are looking, we being the writers, they're always looking for a fresh face, and I think it will need SGA to have that kind of a season to be number 1 seed. But I think at the same time, I think outside of Oklahoma City, people don't even know who SGA is. So I think that's the main problem he's having, is the market he's playing in. But for him to get the MVP, the Thunder have to be the number 1 seed and vice versa.
Yeah, I wouldn't say if they're able to snag the 1 seed that he should be MVP. I'm not willing to go that far. So I guess, but it's the only way, exactly. And I think it would also require Jokic falling off in the final third of the season as well. I think Jokic is going to be MVP for good reason. He's the most all-around dominant guy in the game right now. And I think I also look at it this way. Where would OKC be without SGA? Where would Denver be without Jokic? And neither one of these teams would be in the same spot, granted, but I think OKC, I just talked myself in a circle. Maybe he should be. Damn it. I hate when I do this. No, I'll say no. GTFO, Mario. Even if OKC secures the 1 seed, it's Joker this year.